Picture this: you've poured your heart into a project, a job application, or even a relationship. You've given it your all, only to hear those crushing words, "No, thank you." Rejection, it stings, doesn't it? That sinking feeling in your chest, the doubt creeping into your mind, the questions swirling: what did I do wrong? Am I not good enough? But here's the thing: rejection is universal. Every single one of us has faced it at some point, and while it might feel like the end of the world, what if I told you it doesn't have to be? What if rejection could actually be a stepping stone, not a stumbling block? That's where Stoicism comes in. Stoicism, an ancient philosophy practiced by some of history's greatest minds, teaches us how to handle life's challenges with resilience and wisdom. It doesn't promise to shield us from rejection because, let's face it, rejection is inevitable. Instead, it gives us the tools to face it head-on, to grow from it, and to emerge stronger. Imagine transforming that gut-wrenching "no" into a moment of clarity, a chance to reflect, and an opportunity to improve. Sounds empowering, doesn't it? In this video, we're diving into 25 Stoic ways to handle rejection. These aren't just abstract ideas, they're practical, actionable strategies that you can start using today. Whether you've been turned down for a dream job, faced a breakup, or felt overlooked in a social setting, Stoicism offers a roadmap to navigate these moments with grace and strength. By the end of this video, you'll not only understand why rejection happens, but also how to use it as fuel for your personal growth. So, if you've ever felt the sting of rejection and wondered how to bounce back stronger, you're in the right place. Stick around, because what you're about to learn could change the way you see rejection and yourself forever. Let's get started. Now, let's dive into the first Stoic way to handle rejection: accepting what you cannot control. This principle is at the very heart of Stoicism, and it's a game changer when it comes to dealing with rejection. Here's the idea: life is full of things we can't control: other people's decisions, their opinions, even the outcomes of our efforts. But what we can control is how we respond. When you face rejection, it's easy to take it personally, to feel like it's a reflection of your worth. But Stoicism reminds us that rejection often has very little to do with us and everything to do with circumstances, preferences, or even the other person's own insecurities. Think about it this way: if you apply for a job and don't get it, it's not necessarily because you're not qualified or talented. Maybe the company had internal changes, or someone else simply had a different skill set they were looking for. The same goes for relationships. If someone chooses to walk away, it doesn't mean you're unlovable. It could be about their own needs, fears, or timing. By recognizing that these outcomes are outside your control, you free yourself from the weight of taking rejection personally. This mindset doesn't just reduce emotional suffering, it empowers you. Instead of dwelling on what you can't change, you can focus your energy on what you can influence: your attitude, your effort, and your growth. For example, if you're rejected from a project, instead of spiraling into self-doubt, you can ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I improve? This shift in focus turns rejection from a source of pain into a tool for self-improvement. So, the next time you face rejection, pause and remind yourself, this is not entirely within my control. By letting go of what you can't change, you create space for resilience, clarity, and peace. And that's where true strength begins. Now, let's move into the second Stoic way to handle rejection: reframing it as feedback. This is where Stoicism really shines, offering a powerful shift in perspective. Instead of seeing rejection as a personal failure or a dead end, Stoicism teaches us to view it as valuable feedback, a chance to learn and grow. Think of it like this: when you're learning a new skill, feedback is essential. It shows you where you can improve, what's working and what's not. Rejection works the same way. It's not a verdict on your worth, it's information. So, how do you start reframing rejection as feedback? One practical step is to ask yourself reflective questions. For example, if you didn't get the promotion you were hoping for, instead of thinking, "I'm not good enough," ask, "What can I learn from this experience? Are there skills I need to develop? Did I communicate my value effectively?" These questions shift your focus from self-criticism to self-improvement. Another powerful tool is journaling. Writing down your thoughts and feelings about rejection can help you process them more objectively. Try this after a rejection. Take a few minutes to write about what happened, how you felt, and what you think you can take away from the experience. Over time, you'll start to see patterns, areas where you can grow, strengths you can build on, and even opportunities you might have missed. Reframing rejection as feedback doesn't mean ignoring the sting. It's natural to feel disappointed. But it does mean choosing to see rejection as a stepping stone rather than a stumbling block. By adopting this mindset, you transform rejection from something that holds you back into something that propels you forward. So the next time you face rejection, try this. Pause, take a deep breath, and ask yourself, what is this experience trying to teach me? When you start seeing rejection as feedback, you'll find that every no brings you closer to a stronger, wiser version of yourself. Now, let's explore the third Stoic way to handle rejection, practicing negative visualization. This might sound counterintuitive at first, but it's one of the most powerful tools Stoicism offers for building emotional resilience. Negative visualization is the practice of imagining the worst-case scenario before it happens. By doing this, you prepare yourself mentally and emotionally, so when rejection does occur, it feels less overwhelming and more manageable. Think of it like this: if you're about to give a presentation and you're nervous about how it might go, take a moment to imagine the worst possible outcome. Maybe you stumble over your words or the audience seems uninterested. Now ask yourself, what would I do if that happened? How would I handle it? By visualizing this scenario, you're not only preparing for it, but you're also reducing the fear of the unknown. When you face rejection, the same principle applies. For example, let's say you're applying for a job you really want. Before you even hear back, take a moment to imagine not getting the position. Picture how you'd feel, what you'd say to yourself, and what steps you'd take next. Would you update your resume, reach out to your network, start looking for other opportunities? By mentally rehearsing this scenario, you're not only preparing for the possibility of rejection, but you're also taking away some of its power to surprise or devastate you. Another way to apply negative visualization is to reflect on past rejections. Think about a time when you were rejected. Maybe it was a relationship, a project, or an opportunity. Now ask yourself, how did I handle it? What did I learn? How did it ultimately shape me? By revisiting these experiences, you'll see that rejection, while painful, often leads to growth and new opportunities. Negative visualization doesn't mean dwelling on the negative or expecting the worst in every situation. It's about preparing yourself so that when rejection happens, you're ready to face it with calm and clarity. This practice helps you build emotional resilience, making you less reactive and more grounded in the face of life's challenges. So, the next time you're facing a situation where rejection is possible, try this. Take a few moments to imagine the worst-case scenario. Visualize how you'd respond, what you'd learn, and how you'd move forward. By doing this, you'll find that rejection loses its sting, and you gain the confidence to handle whatever comes your way. Now, let's shift our focus to the fourth Stoic way to handle rejection, focusing on virtue, not outcomes. This principle is at the heart of Stoic philosophy and offers a powerful way to detach from the fear of rejection. Instead of obsessing over results, Stoicism teaches us to prioritize acting virtuously in every situation. When we focus on doing what is right, rather than what might bring us success or approval, we free ourselves from the anxiety of outcomes we can't control. Think about it this way: when you're applying for a job, your goal shouldn't just be to get hired. It should be to present yourself authentically, to communicate your skills honestly, and to act with integrity throughout the process. If you focus on these virtues, honesty, courage, and humility, you'll find that the outcome, whether it's a job offer or a rejection, matters less. Why? Because you've already succeeded in doing what's within your control, acting in alignment with your values. Let's take another example. Imagine you're pitching an idea to a group of colleagues. Instead of worrying about whether they'll approve or reject your proposal, focus on delivering it with clarity, confidence, and respect. If you've done your best to communicate your thoughts thoughtfully and listen to their feedback with an open mind, you've already acted virtuously. The outcome is secondary. This mindset is especially helpful when facing rejection. Let's say you're turned down for a promotion. Instead of dwelling on the disappointment, ask yourself, did I act with integrity? Did I give my best effort? Did I treat others with respect? If the answer is yes, then you've already succeeded in the ways that truly matter. The promotion was never fully within your control, but your actions were. Stoicism reminds us that life is unpredictable and outcomes are often beyond our influence. What we can control is how we choose to act in every moment. By focusing on virtue, on being kind, honest, courageous, and fair, we build a sense of inner stability that rejection can't shake. So, the next time you're faced with a situation where rejection is possible, shift your focus. Ask yourself, what would a virtuous person do here? Let that guide your actions. When you prioritize virtue over outcomes, you'll find that rejection becomes less about failure and more about an opportunity to reaffirm your values and grow as a person. This approach doesn't just help you handle rejection, it transforms the way you approach life. By focusing on what you can control and acting with integrity, you'll find a deeper sense of peace and purpose, no matter what challenges come your way. Now, let's explore the fifth Stoic way to handle rejection, embracing the dichotomy of control. This concept is one of the cornerstones of Stoic philosophy and offers a practical framework for navigating life's uncertainties, including rejection. The idea is simple yet profound. Some things are within our control and others are not. By learning to distinguish between the two, we can focus our energy on what truly matters and let go of what doesn't. Think of it like this: when you're rejected, whether it's in a relationship, a job application, or a creative project, there are aspects of the situation you can influence and others you can't. For example, you can control how much effort you put into preparing for an interview, how thoughtfully you communicate your ideas, or how gracefully you handle feedback. But you can't control the hiring manager's decision, the preferences of others, or the timing of opportunities. So how do you apply this principle in real life? Start by creating a mental checklist. When faced with rejection, pause and ask yourself, what's within my control here and what isn't? Write it down if it helps. For instance, if you're rejected after a first date, you might realize that while you can't control the other person's feelings or preferences, you can control how you reflect on the experience, how you treat yourself afterward, and how you approach future connections. This exercise isn't just about acceptance, it's about empowerment. By identifying what's within your control, you can take meaningful action. Maybe it's improving your skills, refining your approach, or simply practicing self-compassion. And by recognizing what's beyond your control, you can release the burden of trying to change what you can't. Let's take another example. Imagine you're an artist submitting your work to a gallery. You can control the quality of your art, the effort you put into your submission, and how you present yourself, but you can't control the curator's taste, the competition, or the gallery's specific needs. If your work is rejected, the Stoic approach would be to focus on what you can improve: your craft, your presentation, while letting go of the outcome itself. This mindset doesn't just reduce the sting of rejection, it also builds resilience. When you stop trying to control the uncontrollable, you free yourself from unnecessary stress and frustration. Instead of feeling defeated, you can channel your energy into what truly matters: your actions, your growth, and your values. So the next time you face rejection, remember the dichotomy of control. Take a moment to assess what's within your power and what isn't. Focus on what you can do and let go of what you can't. This simple yet powerful practice will help you navigate rejection with clarity, confidence, and a sense of inner peace. By embracing this Stoic principle, you'll find that rejection becomes less about what happens to you and more about how you choose to respond, and that's where your true power lies. Now, let's turn our attention to the sixth Stoic way to handle rejection: cultivating gratitude for what you have. In the midst of rejection, it's easy to focus on what's missing or what didn't go as planned. But Stoicism reminds us that even in difficult moments, there's always something to be grateful for. This shift in perspective can be transformative, helping us find peace and resilience when things don't go our way. Gratitude, in the Stoic sense, isn't just about feeling thankful, it's about actively recognizing the value of what we already possess. When we're rejected, whether it's in love, work, or any other area of life, we often fixate on what we've lost. But Stoicism encourages us to redirect our attention to what remains. Maybe it's the support of friends and family, the skills we've developed, or even the lessons we've learned from the experience. One practical way to cultivate this mindset is by keeping a gratitude journal. Each day, take a few minutes to write down 3 things you're grateful for. They don't have to be grand or life-changing. Simple things like a warm cup of coffee, a kind word from a colleague, or even the opportunity to try again after a setback can make the list. Over time, this practice trains your mind to notice and appreciate the good in your life, even when things feel uncertain or disappointing. Another exercise is to reflect on the impermanence of what we have. Stoics often remind us that nothing lasts forever, not our successes, our possessions, or even our relationships. By acknowledging this, we can develop a deeper appreciation for what we have right now. For example, if you're rejected from a job you really wanted, take a moment to appreciate the skills you've gained through the application process or the connections you've made along the way. These are things that no one can take away from you. Gratitude also helps us maintain perspective. When we're caught up in the sting of rejection, it's easy to lose sight of the bigger picture. But by focusing on what we're grateful for, we can remind ourselves that rejection is just one part of a much larger journey. It doesn't define us, and it doesn't erase the good that's already present in our lives. Let's take an example. Imagine you're a writer who's just received a rejection letter from a publisher. It's natural to feel disappointed, but instead of dwelling on the rejection, you could focus on the progress you've made. Maybe you've improved your writing skills, built a stronger portfolio, or connected with a community of fellow writers. These are all things to be grateful for, and they're also stepping stones toward future success. By cultivating gratitude, we don't just soften the blow of rejection, we also build a foundation of resilience. When we learn to appreciate what we have, we're less likely to be shaken by what we lack. This doesn't mean ignoring the pain of rejection or pretending everything is fine. It means choosing to see the full picture with all its challenges and blessings. So the next time you face rejection, take a moment to pause and reflect. What are you grateful for in this moment? What strengths, relationships, or opportunities still remain? By shifting your focus to gratitude, you'll find that rejection becomes easier to bear, and your capacity for joy and resilience grows stronger. This Stoic practice of gratitude isn't just a way to handle rejection, it's a way to live a richer, more fulfilling life. And as we move forward, we'll explore even more Stoic tools to help you navigate life's challenges with wisdom and grace. Now, let's explore the 7th Stoic way to handle rejection, using it as a test of character. Stoicism teaches us that challenges, including rejection, are not just obstacles to overcome but opportunities to reveal our true strength and integrity. When faced with rejection, we have a choice: to let it break us or to let it shape us into stronger, more resilient individuals. Think of rejection as a mirror. It reflects not just what's happening to us but how we respond to it. The Stoics believed that our character is revealed in moments of adversity. When things go well, it's easy to feel confident and composed. But when we're rejected, that's when our true nature comes to light. Do we crumble under pressure, or do we rise to the occasion with grace and determination? History is filled with examples of individuals who turned rejection into a testament of their character. Take Thomas Edison, for instance. He faced countless rejections and failures in his quest to invent the light bulb. But instead of giving up, he famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." His resilience and unwavering commitment to his vision transformed rejection into a stepping stone for one of the greatest inventions in history. Closer to our time, consider J.K. Rowling, whose manuscript for Harry Potter was rejected by multiple publishers. Instead of letting those rejections define her, she used them as fuel to keep going. Her perseverance not only led to the creation of a beloved literary series, but also inspired millions to believe in the power of persistence. These examples remind us that rejection isn't just about what happens to us, it's about how we choose to respond. The Stoics would argue that every rejection is an invitation to practice virtues like courage, patience, and humility. It's a chance to prove to ourselves and others that we can face setbacks with dignity and resolve. So, how can you apply this Stoic principle in your own life? Start by reframing rejection as a test. Ask yourself, what kind of person do I want to be in this moment? Do you want to be someone who gives up at the first sign of difficulty, or someone who uses challenges as opportunities to grow? Next, focus on the virtues you want to embody. If you're rejected from a job, for example, you might choose to respond with humility by acknowledging areas where you can improve. Or if you're turned down in a personal relationship, you might demonstrate courage by respecting the other person's decision and moving forward with self-respect. Finally, remember that rejection is not the end of the story. It's just one chapter. Every time you face rejection with strength and integrity, you're building a stronger foundation for future success. You're proving to yourself that you have what it takes to handle life's challenges, no matter how difficult they may seem. By viewing rejection as a test of character, you transform it from a source of pain into a source of power. It becomes an opportunity to show the world and yourself what you're truly made of. And as we continue, we'll uncover even more Stoic strategies to help you navigate rejection with wisdom and resilience. Now, let's shift our focus to the 8th Stoic way to handle rejection, practicing self-compassion. While Stoicism often emphasizes resilience and strength, it also teaches us the importance of treating ourselves with kindness and understanding, especially in moments of rejection. Self-compassion is not about indulging in self-pity or avoiding responsibility. Instead, it's about acknowledging our pain without letting it define us or spiral into harsh self-criticism. When we face rejection, it's easy to fall into the trap of blaming ourselves or questioning our worth. The Stoics remind us that rejection is a natural part of life, and it doesn't diminish our value as individuals. By practicing self-compassion, we can process rejection in a healthier way, allowing ourselves to feel the sting without letting it consume us. One practical way to cultivate self-compassion is through affirmations. These are simple, positive statements that help reframe our mindset and remind us of our inherent worth. For example, after a rejection, you might say to yourself, "This setback doesn't define me. I am capable, resilient, and worthy of success." Repeating affirmations like these can help counteract negative self-talk and reinforce a more balanced perspective. Another powerful tool is self-reflection. Take a moment to journal about your experience of rejection. Write down what happened, how it made you feel, and what you can learn from it. This exercise isn't about dwelling on the negative, but about gaining clarity and understanding. By reflecting on your emotions and actions, you can identify areas for growth while also recognizing your strength. The Stoics believed that self-compassion is a form of wisdom. It's about recognizing that we're human, and humans are imperfect. We all face rejection, make mistakes, and experience setbacks. What matters is how we treat ourselves in those moments. Do we berate ourselves for not being perfect, or do we extend the same kindness and understanding we would offer a friend? By practicing self-compassion, we create a safe space to process rejection without letting it erode our confidence or self-worth. It allows us to move forward with a sense of grace and resilience, knowing that we've treated ourselves with the care we deserve. As we continue, we'll explore even more Stoic strategies to help you navigate rejection with wisdom and strength. Each step builds on the last, offering you a toolkit to transform rejection from a source of pain into an opportunity for growth. Now, let's turn our attention to the 9th Stoic way to handle rejection detaching from external validation. One of the most profound lessons Stoicism offers is the idea that our worth and confidence should come from within, not from the opinions or approval of others. When we rely too heavily on external validation, we give away our power, making our sense of self-worth dependent on things outside our control. Rejection often feels so painful because it taps into this need for approval. We might think, if they don't accept me, does that mean I'm not good enough? But the Stoics remind us that other people's opinions are not within our control, and therefore they shouldn't dictate how we see ourselves. Instead of seeking validation from others, we can learn to validate ourselves by focusing on our own values, actions, and character. So how do we start detaching from external validation? The first step is to recognize when we're seeking approval. Pay attention to moments when you feel the need to impress others or when rejection leaves you questioning your worth. Awareness is the foundation of change. Once you notice these patterns, you can begin to shift your focus inward. Next, practice self-reflection. Ask yourself, what do I truly value? What kind of person do I want to be? By aligning your actions with your own principles rather than trying to meet others' expectations, you build a stronger sense of self. For example, instead of worrying about whether someone likes your work, focus on whether you're proud of the effort you put into it. Another powerful Stoic exercise is to remind yourself of the impermanence of opinions. People's judgments are fleeting and often inconsistent. What one person rejects today, another might celebrate tomorrow. By understanding this, you can free yourself from the need to please everyone and instead focus on what truly matters, your own growth and integrity. Building self-reliance also means celebrating your progress, no matter how small. Take time to acknowledge your achievements and strengths, even if others don't. Keep a journal where you write down moments when you acted with courage, kindness, or resilience. Over time, this practice will help you internalize your worth and reduce your dependence on external validation. Detaching from external validation doesn't mean becoming indifferent to others or isolating yourself. It's about finding a healthy balance, valuing relationships and feedback while maintaining a strong sense of self. When you stop seeking approval from others, you'll find that rejection loses much of its sting. Instead of feeling crushed by it, you'll see it as a reminder to stay true to yourself and your values. As we move forward, we'll explore even more Stoic strategies to help you handle rejection with wisdom and resilience. Each step builds on the last, offering you a toolkit to transform rejection from a source of pain into an opportunity for growth. Now, let's shift our focus to the 10th Stoic way to handle rejection, reflecting on the impermanence of rejection. One of the core teachings of Stoicism is the idea that everything in life is temporary, including our experiences of rejection. When we internalize this truth, it becomes easier to maintain perspective and avoid letting rejection define us. Think about it. How many times have you faced rejection, only to look back weeks, months, or even years later and realize it didn't matter as much as you thought it would? The Stoics remind us that rejection, like all things, is fleeting. What feels overwhelming in the moment often fades with time. By embracing this mindset, we can prevent ourselves from overreacting or dwelling on the pain of rejection longer than necessary. So how can we apply this concept in practical terms? Start by reminding yourself that rejection is not permanent. When you face a setback, take a moment to pause and ask, will this matter in a week, a month, a year? This simple question can help you gain clarity and reduce the emotional weight of the situation. Another way to practice this is by reflecting on past rejections that once felt devastating but no longer hold power over you. For example, maybe you didn't get a job you really wanted, only to find a better opportunity later. Or perhaps a relationship ended, but it led you to grow in ways you never expected. These experiences show that rejection often opens doors to new possibilities, even if we can't see them right away. The Stoics also encourage us to zoom out and see rejection as part of the natural ebb and flow of life. Just as seasons change, so do our circumstances. What feels like a rejection today might be the catalyst for growth tomorrow. By accepting this impermanence, we can approach rejection with a sense of calm and curiosity, rather than fear or despair. To make this mindset a habit, try journaling about your experiences with rejection. Write down how you felt in the moment and how your perspective shifted over time. This practice not only helps you process your emotions, but also reinforces the idea that rejection is temporary. Over time, you'll find it easier to let go of the sting and focus on what truly matters, your resilience and growth. Reflecting on the impermanence of rejection doesn't mean dismissing your feelings or pretending it doesn't hurt. It's about acknowledging the pain while also recognizing that it won't last forever. This balanced approach allows you to move forward with grace and confidence, knowing that every rejection is just a small part of your larger journey. As we continue, we'll explore even more Stoic strategies to help you navigate rejection with wisdom and strength. Each step builds on the last, offering you a roadmap to transform rejection from a source of pain into an opportunity for growth. Now, let's turn our attention to the 11th Stoic way to handle rejection, focusing on the present moment. One of the most powerful tools Stoicism offers is the practice of mindfulness, which teaches us to anchor ourselves in the here and now. When we dwell on past rejections or worry about future ones, we often amplify our pain and lose sight of what we can control in the present. Think about it. How much time do we spend replaying old rejections in our minds or fearing new ones that may never happen? The Stoics remind us that the past is gone and the future is uncertain. The only moment we truly have is the present, and it's in this moment that we can choose how to respond to rejection with clarity and purpose. So, how can we cultivate this focus on the present? One effective technique is meditation. Taking just a few minutes each day to sit quietly, breathe deeply, and observe your thoughts can help you detach from the noise of past regrets or future anxieties. Meditation trains your mind to return to the present whenever it wanders, building your ability to stay grounded even in the face of rejection. Another practical method is grounding exercises. These are simple techniques that bring your attention back to your immediate surroundings. For example, try the 5-4-3-2-1 exercise. Identify 5 things you can see, 4 things you can touch, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, and 1 thing you can taste. This exercise pulls you out of your thoughts and into the present, helping you regain perspective and calm. The Stoics also encourage us to focus on our actions in the moment rather than the outcomes we can't control. When you face rejection, ask yourself, what can I do right now to move forward? Maybe it's reaching out to a friend for support, reflecting on what you've learned, or simply taking a walk to clear your mind. By directing your energy toward the present, you reclaim your power and reduce the hold rejection has over you. It's important to remember that focusing on the present doesn't mean ignoring your emotions or pretending everything is fine. It's about acknowledging your feelings without letting them consume you. When you stay present, you give yourself the space to process rejection in a healthy way, rather than getting stuck in a cycle of rumination or fear. To make this practice a habit, try setting aside a few moments each day to check in with yourself. ask, am I fully present right now, or am I caught up in the past or future? Over time, this awareness will help you respond to rejection with greater calm and resilience. As we move forward, we'll explore even more Stoic strategies to help you navigate rejection with wisdom and strength. Each step builds on the last, offering you a roadmap to transform rejection from a source of pain into an opportunity for growth. Now, let's shift our focus to the 12th Stoic way to handle rejection, learning from role models. Throughout history, Stoic philosophers like Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus faced immense challenges and rejection, yet they responded with remarkable grace and wisdom. Their teachings offer timeless lessons that can guide us in navigating our own experiences of rejection. Take Marcus Aurelius, for example. As a Roman emperor, he faced constant political opposition and personal loss. Yet, in his writings, he emphasized the importance of focusing on what we can control and letting go of what we cannot. His famous words, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this and you will find strength. Remind us that rejection is an external event, but our response to it is entirely within our control. Seneca, another towering figure in Stoicism, experienced exile and betrayal, yet he used these hardships as opportunities for growth. He taught that adversity is not something to fear but a chance to practice virtue and resilience. In one of his letters he wrote, "Difficulties strengthen the mind as labor does the body." This perspective encourages us to see rejection not as a setback but as a stepping stone to becoming stronger and more resilient. Then there's Epictetus, who was born into slavery and faced countless hardships. Despite his circumstances, he taught that our happiness depends not on external events but on our internal judgments. He famously said, "It's not what happens to you but how you react to it that matters." This simple yet profound idea helps us reframe rejection as an opportunity to exercise our inner strength and wisdom. So, how can we apply these teachings in our own lives? Start by reflecting on the lives of these Stoic role models. When you face rejection, ask yourself, what would Marcus Aurelius do in this situation? How would Seneca respond? By drawing inspiration from their examples, you can approach rejection with a sense of purpose and calm. Another practical step is to keep a journal where you record quotes or lessons from these Stoic philosophers. When you encounter rejection, revisit these writings to remind yourself of their wisdom. Over time, their teachings will become a source of strength and guidance, helping you navigate life's challenges with greater resilience. Learning from role models doesn't mean you have to face rejection alone. It's about drawing on the wisdom of those who have walked this path before you and using their insights to light your way. By doing so, you not only honor their legacy but also empower yourself to handle rejection with grace and resilience. As we continue, we'll explore even more Stoic strategies to help you turn rejection into a catalyst for growth. Each step builds on the last, offering you a roadmap to transform rejection from a source of pain into an opportunity for growth. Now, let's turn our attention to the 13th Stoic way to handle rejection, practicing voluntary discomfort. This might sound counterintuitive at first, but intentionally exposing yourself to small, manageable challenges can actually prepare you to face rejection with greater ease. The Stoics believed that by willingly embracing discomfort, we build resilience and train ourselves to remain calm and composed in the face of adversity. Think of it like this: if you've ever taken a cold shower or skipped a meal, you know how uncomfortable it can feel at first. But over time, these small acts of self-discipline strengthen your ability to endure discomfort without letting it overwhelm you. The same principle applies to rejection. By practicing voluntary discomfort, you're essentially training your mind to handle life's inevitable setbacks with grace and resilience. One practical way to incorporate this into your life is by starting small. For example, you might choose to wake up earlier than usual, even if it's just by 15 minutes, or take a cold shower instead of a warm one. These acts might seem trivial, but they help you build mental toughness and prepare you for larger challenges like rejection. Another example is fasting. By skipping a meal or practicing intermittent fasting, you're not only improving your physical health but also teaching yourself to endure temporary discomfort without giving in to immediate gratification. This kind of self-control can be incredibly empowering when you face rejection, as it reminds you that you have the strength to withstand difficult moments. The key here is to approach these practices with intention. It's not about punishing yourself or seeking out unnecessary hardship. Instead, it's about building a mindset that sees discomfort as an opportunity for growth. When you willingly face small challenges, you're better equipped to handle bigger ones like rejection without feeling overwhelmed. So, the next time you're tempted to avoid discomfort, consider leaning into it instead. Whether it's taking a cold shower, fasting, or simply stepping outside your comfort zone in small ways, these practices can help you build the resilience you need to face rejection with confidence. As we move forward, we'll explore even more Stoic strategies to help you turn rejection into a source of strength. Each step builds on the last, offering you a roadmap to transform rejection from a source of pain into an opportunity for growth. Now, let's shift our focus to the 14th Stoic way to handle rejection, avoiding catastrophizing. This is a powerful tool in the Stoic toolkit, and it's all about keeping things in perspective. Catastrophizing happens when we blow rejection out of proportion, imagining the worst-case scenarios and letting those thoughts spiral out of control. The Stoics remind us that this kind of thinking only amplifies our pain and distorts our view of reality. Think about it this way: when you experience rejection, it's easy to let your mind run wild with thoughts like, "This is the end," or "I'll never recover from this." But the truth is, rejection is rarely as catastrophic as it feels in the moment. The Stoics encourage us to step back and ask ourselves, is this really as bad as I'm making it out to be? More often than not, the answer is no. One practical way to combat catastrophizing is by practicing what the Stoics called premeditatio malorum, or the premeditation of evils. This involves imagining the worst-case scenario in a calm and rational way, rather than letting fear take over. For example, if you're rejected for a job, instead of thinking, "I'll never find work again," you might ask yourself, "What's the worst that could happen? I'll apply to other jobs and eventually I'll find the right fit." This exercise helps you see that even the worst-case scenario is manageable, and it prevents your mind from spiraling into unnecessary panic. Another strategy is to focus on what's within your control. When you catch yourself catastrophizing, pause and ask, "What can I actually do about this situation?" Often, the answer is something small but meaningful, like reaching out to a friend for support, reflecting on what you've learned, or taking a step toward a new opportunity. By shifting your focus to actionable steps, you regain a sense of agency and reduce the power of those exaggerated fears. It's also helpful to remind yourself of past experiences where things turned out better than you expected. Think about a time when you faced rejection and later realized it wasn't the disaster you thought it would be. This kind of reflection can help you maintain a balanced perspective and trust that you'll get through this challenge too. The key takeaway here is that rejection doesn't have to be a catastrophe. By avoiding the trap of catastrophizing, you can keep your emotions in check and approach the situation with clarity and calm. The Stoics teach us that life's setbacks are rarely as devastating as they seem, and with the right mindset, we can navigate them with resilience and grace. As we continue, we'll explore even more Stoic strategies to help you handle rejection with wisdom and strength. Each step builds on the last, offering you practical tools to transform rejection from a source of pain into an opportunity for growth. Now, let's turn our attention to the 15th Stoic way to handle rejection, focusing on the bigger picture. This approach invites us to zoom out and see rejection not as an isolated event, but as a small part of a much larger journey. The Stoics remind us that life is a series of ups and downs, and rejection is just one of many experiences that shape who we are. By keeping the bigger picture in mind, we can avoid getting stuck in the moment and instead see rejection as a stepping stone toward growth and self-discovery. One effective way to cultivate this perspective is through journaling. Take a few moments to write about your long-term goals and aspirations. Ask yourself, where do I see myself in 5 or 10 years? When you reflect on your broader vision, rejection often feels less significant. It becomes a temporary setback rather than a defining moment. Journaling also allows you to track your progress over time, helping you see how far you've come and how much you've grown even in the face of challenges. Another powerful technique is visualization. Imagine yourself looking back on this moment from the future. Picture yourself having overcome this rejection and achieving your goals. How does it feel? What lessons did you learn along the way? This exercise helps you detach from the immediate pain of rejection and focus on the long-term benefits it might bring. It's a reminder that every experience, even the difficult ones, contributes to your personal growth and resilience. The Stoics also encourage us to consider the impermanence of our struggles. Think about past rejections you've faced. At the time, they might have felt overwhelming, but looking back, you can probably see how they led to new opportunities or insights. This reflection helps you trust that the current rejection, too, will eventually fade into the background as you move forward. Finally, remind yourself of your purpose. What drives you? What are you working toward? When you align your actions with your deeper goals, rejection becomes less about the immediate outcome and more about the journey itself. It's a chance to refine your approach, learn from your mistakes, and stay committed to what truly matters to you. By focusing on the bigger picture, you can approach rejection with a sense of perspective and calm. The Stoics teach us that life is a marathon, not a sprint, and every setback is an opportunity to grow stronger and wiser. As we move forward, we'll explore even more Stoic strategies to help you navigate rejection with resilience and grace, building on the tools we've already discussed. Now, let's shift our focus to the 16th Stoic way to handle rejection, practicing equanimity. Equanimity is the ability to remain calm and composed even in the face of life's challenges. For the Stoics, this virtue is essential for navigating rejection with grace and resilience. When we practice equanimity, we don't let rejection shake our inner peace. Instead, we respond with clarity and poise, recognizing that our emotions don't have to dictate our actions. One practical way to cultivate equanimity is through breathing exercises. When you feel the sting of rejection, take a moment to pause and focus on your breath. Inhale deeply, counting to 4, hold for a count of 4, and then exhale slowly for another count of 4. This simple technique helps calm your nervous system and brings your mind back to the present moment. By grounding yourself in your breath, you create a space between the rejection and your reaction, allowing you to respond thoughtfully rather than impulsively. Another powerful tool is mental reframing. When rejection strikes, it's easy to fall into negative thought patterns like thinking, "I'm not good enough," or "this will never work." Instead, try to reframe these thoughts. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this experience? Or how can I use this as an opportunity to grow? By shifting your perspective, you transform rejection from a source of pain into a catalyst for self-improvement. The Stoics also remind us to focus on what's within our control. Rejection often feels personal, but the truth is, other people's actions and opinions are beyond our influence. What we can control is how we choose to respond. By directing your energy toward your own thoughts and actions rather than dwelling on external factors, you cultivate a sense of inner stability. Finally, practice gratitude as a way to maintain equanimity. When rejection feels overwhelming, take a moment to reflect on the things you're grateful for. This could be your health, your relationships, or even the lessons you've learned from past challenges. Gratitude helps you maintain perspective, reminding you that rejection is just one part of a much larger, more meaningful life. By practicing equanimity, you build the resilience to face rejection with calm and composure. The Stoics teach us that true strength lies not in avoiding challenges, but in meeting them with a steady mind and an open heart. As we continue, we'll explore even more Stoic strategies to help you navigate rejection with wisdom and resilience, building on the tools we've already discussed. Now, let's turn our attention to the 17th Stoic way to handle rejection: letting go of ego. The Stoics believed that our ego, or sense of self-importance, often amplifies the pain of rejection. When we tie our worth to external validation, like approval from others or success in our endeavors, we set ourselves up for unnecessary suffering. Rejection can feel like a blow to our identity, but Stoicism teaches us to detach from this ego-driven mindset and embrace humility instead. One of the first steps to letting go of ego is recognizing that rejection doesn't define you. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking, if they don't accept me, I must not be good enough. But the Stoics remind us that our value isn't determined by others' opinions. Instead of clinging to pride, focus on your intrinsic worth, your character, your efforts, and your commitment to growth. Another key practice is to shift your focus from me to we. When rejection stings, it's often because we're overly focused on ourselves, our desires, our image, our fears. The Stoics encourage us to think beyond our own needs and consider the bigger picture. Ask yourself, how can I contribute to others? Or, what can I learn from this experience to become a better person? By redirecting your energy toward service and self-improvement, you diminish the power of ego and cultivate a sense of humility. It's also helpful to practice self-awareness. When you feel the urge to defend yourself or prove your worth after rejection, pause and reflect. Ask yourself, is this reaction coming from my ego? Often, we react impulsively because our pride feels threatened. By becoming more aware of these patterns, you can choose to respond with calm and clarity instead of defensiveness. Finally, embrace the idea of imperfection. The Stoics understood that no one is immune to failure or rejection. By accepting that you're human and that mistakes are part of growth, you release the need to protect your ego. Humility isn't about thinking less of yourself, it's about thinking of yourself less. When you let go of the need to be perfect or universally accepted, you free yourself from the weight of ego and open the door to deeper resilience and peace. By releasing the grip of ego, you transform rejection from a personal attack into an opportunity for growth. The Stoics teach us that true strength comes from humility, not pride. As we move forward, we'll explore even more ways to navigate rejection with wisdom, building on the tools we've already discussed. Now, let's explore the 18th Stoic way to handle rejection, using it as a catalyst for growth. The Stoics saw adversity, including rejection, not as a setback but as a powerful opportunity for personal development. When life doesn't go as planned, it's easy to feel defeated, but Stoicism teaches us to reframe these moments as chances to learn, adapt, and become stronger. Think of rejection as a mirror. It reflects areas where you can improve, but it also highlights your strengths. For example, if you're turned down for a job, it might reveal gaps in your skills or experience. But it could also remind you of your determination and willingness to keep trying. The Stoics believe that every challenge, including rejection, carries a lesson if we're willing to look for it. One practical way to use rejection as a catalyst for growth is to ask yourself reflective questions. After experiencing rejection, take a moment to consider, what can I learn from this? Or how can I use this experience to become better? These questions shift your focus from what went wrong to what you can gain. They help you see rejection not as a dead end but as a stepping stone towards self-improvement. Another approach is to embrace the idea of resilience. Rejection often tests our ability to bounce back, and each time we do, we grow stronger. Think of it like a muscle. Every time you face rejection and choose to keep going, you're building emotional strength. Over time, this resilience becomes a powerful tool. helping you navigate future challenges with greater ease and confidence. Consider the story of Thomas Edison, who famously faced countless rejections and failures before inventing the light bulb. He didn't see each failure as a defeat but as a step closer to success. The Stoics would admire his mindset, as it aligns with their belief that adversity is a teacher, not an enemy. Finally, remember that growth often comes from discomfort. Rejection can feel painful, but it's in those moments of discomfort that we're pushed to grow. By embracing rejection as a catalyst for growth, you transform it from a source of pain into a source of power. You become more adaptable, more resilient, and more aligned with your true potential. As we continue, we'll uncover even more Stoic tools to help you navigate rejection with wisdom and grace, building on the lessons we've explored so far. Now, let's turn our attention to the 19th Stoic way to handle rejection: practicing journaling. The Stoics were firm believers in the power of reflection, and journaling was one of their most cherished tools for self-improvement. Writing about your experiences, especially those involving rejection, can be a transformative practice. It allows you to step back, process your emotions, and gain clarity in moments of confusion or pain. When you journal about rejection, you create a space to untangle your thoughts. Instead of letting emotions swirl chaotically in your mind, putting them on paper helps you organize and understand them. For instance, you might start by describing what happened, how it made you feel, and what thoughts arose. This process alone can be incredibly cathartic, as it gives you a chance to release pent-up emotions in a healthy way. But journaling goes beyond just venting. It's also a tool for learning. As you write, you can begin to identify patterns or recurring themes in your experiences. Maybe you notice that certain types of rejection trigger stronger reactions, or perhaps you realize that your expectations played a role in how you felt. These insights are invaluable because they help you grow. By understanding your emotional triggers and thought processes, you can start to approach future rejections with greater awareness and resilience. One practical way to use journaling is to ask yourself specific questions after experiencing rejection. For example, you might write, "What did I learn from this experience?" Or, "How can I approach this differently next time?" These questions encourage you to shift from a place of frustration to one of curiosity and growth. They help you see rejection not as a failure but as a stepping stone towards self-discovery. Another benefit of journaling is that it allows you to track your progress over time. When you look back at past entries, you might notice how far you've come in handling rejection. Perhaps you've become more resilient, more understanding, or more focused on what truly matters. This reflection can be incredibly motivating, reminding you that growth is a continuous journey. The Stoics, like Marcus Aurelius, often used journaling to reflect on their challenges and align their actions with their values. His personal writings, now known as meditations, are a testament to the power of this practice. By journaling regularly, you too can cultivate a deeper understanding of yourself and develop the wisdom to navigate rejection with grace. As we move forward, we'll explore even more Stoic strategies to help you turn rejection into an opportunity for growth and self-mastery. Each tool builds on the last, creating a powerful framework for resilience and inner strength. Now, let's shift our focus to the 20th Stoic way to handle rejection, focusing on what you can improve. Stoicism teaches us that rejection isn't just a setback, it's an opportunity to reflect and grow. Instead of dwelling on what went wrong, this approach encourages you to look inward and ask, "What can I learn from this experience? How can I improve?" When you face rejection, it's easy to fall into the trap of blaming external factors or other people. But Stoicism reminds us that the only thing truly within our control is our own actions and responses. By shifting your focus to what you can improve, you take ownership of your growth. This mindset not only reduces feelings of helplessness, but also empowers you to turn rejection into a catalyst for self-improvement. One practical way to apply this principle is through self-assessment. after experiencing rejection, take a moment to reflect on the situation. Ask yourself questions like, did I prepare as well as I could have? Or were there areas where I could have communicated more effectively? This kind of honest self-evaluation helps you identify specific areas for growth without falling into self-criticism. Another powerful tool is seeking constructive criticism. Sometimes we're too close to a situation to see it clearly. Reaching out to trusted mentors, colleagues, or friends for feedback can provide valuable insight. For example, if you were rejected for a job, you might ask, what could I have done differently in the interview? Or are there skills I need to develop further? This feedback can guide your efforts to improve and prepare you for future opportunities. It's important to remember that focusing on improvement doesn't mean obsessing over perfection. Stoicism teaches us to strive for progress, not perfection. Every rejection is a chance to refine your skills, adjust your approach, and grow stronger. By embracing this mindset, you transform rejection from a source of pain into a stepping stone toward becoming the best version of yourself. As we continue, we'll explore even more Stoic strategies to help you navigate rejection with wisdom and resilience. Each of these tools builds on the last, creating a comprehensive framework for personal growth and inner strength. Now, let's turn our attention to the 21st Stoic way to handle rejection, embracing the role of fate. This concept, known as amor fati, or love of fate, is one of the most profound teachings in Stoicism. It encourages us to accept everything that happens in life, including rejection, as part of a larger natural flow. Instead of resisting or resenting what we cannot change, amor fati invites us to embrace it wholeheartedly, finding peace and even meaning in the process. At its core, amor fati is about shifting our perspective. Rejection often feels like a disruption, something that throws us off course. But Stoicism reminds us that life is full of unexpected twists and turns, and rejection is simply one of them. By accepting rejection as part of fate's design, we stop fighting against it and start seeing it as an integral part of our journey. This doesn't mean we have to like rejection, but it does mean we can choose to see it as an opportunity to grow and evolve. Think of it this way: life is like a river constantly flowing and changing direction. Rejection is just one of the currents that push us in a new direction. When we resist, we struggle against the current, exhausting ourselves in the process. But when we embrace it, we allow the river to carry us forward, trusting that it will lead us where we need to go. This mindset helps us find peace in the face of rejection, knowing that it's not a punishment but a natural part of life's ebb and flow. One practical way to practice amor fati is through daily reflection. Take a moment each day to acknowledge the things you cannot control, including rejection. Instead of dwelling on what went wrong, focus on how it fits into the bigger picture of your life. Ask yourself, what can this experience teach me? How can it shape me into a stronger, wiser person? By reframing rejection as a necessary part of your growth, you begin to see it as a gift rather than a burden. Another powerful aspect of amor fati is its ability to help us find meaning in difficult experiences. Stoicism teaches us that even the most challenging moments have a purpose, even if we can't see it right away. Rejection, for example, might redirect us toward a path we were meant to take, one that aligns more closely with our true purpose. By embracing this idea, we can approach rejection with curiosity and openness rather than fear or frustration. Ultimately, amor fati is about trusting the process of life. It's about recognizing that rejection, like all experiences, has a role to play in shaping who we are. When we learn to love our fate, we stop seeing rejection as an enemy and start seeing it as a teacher. This shift in perspective not only brings peace but also empowers us to move forward with resilience and grace. As we continue, we'll explore more Stoic strategies to help you navigate rejection with wisdom and strength. Each of these tools builds on the last, creating a comprehensive framework for personal growth and inner peace. Now, let's shift our focus to the 22nd Stoic way to handle rejection, avoiding the trap of comparing yourself to others. In a world where social media and societal expectations constantly bombard us with images of success, it's easy to fall into the habit of measuring our worth against others. But Stoicism teaches us that this comparison is not only unproductive but also deeply harmful to our sense of self. When we compare ourselves to others, we amplify feelings of rejection, as we're always looking outward instead of inward. Stoicism reminds us that each person's journey is unique. What works for someone else may not work for you, and that's okay. The key is to focus on your own progress, not on how you stack up against others. This doesn't mean ignoring the achievements of those around you, but rather recognizing that their path is theirs and yours is yours. By shifting your focus to your own growth, you can cultivate a sense of inner peace and self-acceptance even in the face of rejection. One practical strategy to avoid comparison is to set personal goals that are meaningful to you rather than chasing external benchmarks. For example, instead of aiming to be the best in your field, focus on becoming the best version of yourself. This shift in mindset allows you to measure success by your own standards, not by someone else's. It also helps you stay grounded in your values and priorities, rather than being swayed by societal pressures or the opinions of others. Another powerful Stoic practice is to remind yourself of the impermanence of external achievements. Fame, wealth, and status are fleeting, and they don't define your worth. What truly matters is how you live your life, your character, your integrity, and your commitment to growth. By keeping this perspective in mind, you can detach from the need for external validation and focus on what truly matters to you. It's also helpful to practice gratitude for your own journey. Take time to reflect on how far you've come, the challenges you've overcome, and the lessons you've learned. This not only builds self-confidence but also helps you appreciate your unique path rather than envying someone else's. Gratitude shifts your focus from what you lack to what you have, creating a sense of fulfillment that comparison can never provide. Finally, remember that everyone faces rejection, even those who seem to have it all. Social media often paints a picture-perfect image of people's lives, but behind the scenes, everyone struggles with their own challenges. By avoiding comparison, you free yourself from the illusion that others are immune to rejection. This realization can be incredibly liberating, as it reminds you that rejection is a universal experience, not a personal failure. As we move forward, we'll explore more Stoic tools to help you navigate rejection with wisdom and resilience. Each of these strategies builds on the last, creating a powerful framework for personal growth and inner peace. Now, let's turn our attention to the 23rd Stoic way to handle rejection, practicing forgiveness. When someone rejects us, it's natural to feel hurt, angry, or even resentful. But Stoicism teaches us that holding onto these negative emotions only harms us in the long run. Forgiveness, on the other hand, is a powerful tool for freeing ourselves from the weight of resentment and reclaiming our inner peace. Stoicism reminds us that people's actions, including rejection, are often a reflection of their own struggles, biases, or limitations, not a measure of our worth. By forgiving those who reject us, we release the emotional burden of carrying grudges and open ourselves to healing and growth. Forgiveness doesn't mean excusing harmful behavior or pretending the rejection didn't hurt. Instead, it's about choosing to let go of the negativity so we can move forward with clarity and strength. One practical step to cultivate forgiveness is to practice empathy. Try to see the situation from the other person's perspective. What might have influenced their decision? Were they acting out of fear, insecurity, or misunderstanding? By understanding their motives, even if you don't agree with them, you can begin to soften your feelings of resentment. Another effective strategy is to focus on the bigger picture. Ask yourself, will this rejection matter in a week, a month, or a year? Often we realize that the pain we feel is temporary, and holding onto it only prolongs our suffering. Letting go allows us to redirect our energy toward more meaningful pursuits rather than dwelling on the past. Journaling can also be a powerful tool for practicing forgiveness. Write down your feelings about the rejection, but then shift your focus to what you've learned from the experience. How has it helped you grow? What strengths have you discovered within yourself? By reframing the rejection as an opportunity for self-discovery, you can begin to release the hold it has on you. Finally, remember that forgiveness is a process, not a one-time event. It's okay if it takes time to fully let go of negative emotions. What matters is your commitment to moving forward one step at a time. By practicing forgiveness, you not only free yourself from the weight of resentment, but also cultivate a deeper sense of compassion for others and for yourself. As we continue, we'll explore more Stoic principles that can help you navigate rejection with wisdom and resilience. Each of these tools builds on the last, creating a strong foundation for personal growth and emotional freedom. Now, let's shift our focus to the 24th Stoic way to handle rejection, focusing on your purpose. One of the most powerful tools Stoicism offers is the idea of aligning your actions with a deeper sense of purpose. When you have a clear understanding of why you're doing what you're doing, rejection becomes less about the setback and more about staying true to your path. Stoicism teaches us that our purpose is like a compass. It guides us through life's challenges, including rejection. When you're grounded in your purpose, you're less likely to be shaken by external opinions or outcomes. Instead of dwelling on the sting of rejection, you can ask yourself, does this rejection align with or detract from my purpose? If it doesn't align, it's easier to let it go and keep moving forward. Having a clear purpose also helps you reframe rejection as a stepping stone rather than a roadblock. For example, if your purpose is to grow as a writer, a rejection letter from a publisher isn't a failure, it's feedback that helps you refine your craft. By staying focused on your long-term goals, you can approach rejection with resilience and determination, knowing that each no brings you closer to a yes. To cultivate this mindset, start by reflecting on your core values and what truly matters to you. What drives you? What kind of impact do you want to have on the world? Write these down and revisit them regularly, especially when facing rejection. This practice helps you stay connected to your purpose and reminds you why you're putting yourself out there in the first place. Another practical step is to break your purpose into actionable steps. Instead of fixating on the rejection, focus on what you can do next to move closer to your goals. Maybe it's revising your work, seeking new opportunities, or simply continuing to practice your skills. By taking small, purposeful actions, you regain a sense of control and momentum, even in the face of setbacks. Finally, remember that purpose isn't static. It evolves as you grow. What matters most is that you stay aligned with your current sense of meaning, even when the path gets tough. By focusing on your purpose, you not only navigate rejection with greater resilience, but also build a life that feels meaningful and fulfilling, regardless of external validation. As we move forward, we'll explore the final Stoic principle in our list, which ties everything together and reminds us of the universal nature of rejection. Each of these tools builds on the last, creating a strong foundation for personal growth and emotional freedom. Now, as we reach the final Stoic principle in our list, let's take a moment to reflect on something profound yet simple. Rejection is universal. No matter who you are or what you do, rejection is a shared human experience. Stoicism reminds us that everyone, at some point, faces setbacks, criticism, or failure. What truly matters isn't whether we experience rejection, but how we choose to respond to it. Think about it, every great figure in history, from artists to leaders, has faced rejection. Even the Stoic philosophers themselves, like Marcus Aurelius and Seneca, dealt with their share of setbacks. What set them apart wasn't the absence of rejection, but their ability to rise above it. They understood that rejection isn't a reflection of your worth, it's simply a part of life's journey. This universal truth can be incredibly liberating. When you realize that rejection isn't unique to you, it loses some of its power. Instead of feeling isolated or defeated, you can see it as a common thread that connects us all. Stoicism teaches us to embrace this perspective, not as a way to minimize our pain, but to remind us that we're not alone. So, how can we apply this principle in our own lives? Start by shifting your mindset. When rejection happens, remind yourself that it's a natural part of growth. Everyone faces it, and everyone has the capacity to overcome it. This doesn't mean the sting disappears entirely, but it does mean you can approach it with greater resilience and perspective. Another practical step is to seek out stories of others who have turned rejection into success. Whether it's a famous figure or someone in your own life, these stories can inspire you to keep going. They remind us that rejection isn't the end, it's often the beginning of something greater. Finally, let Stoicism guide you in focusing on what you can control, your response. Rejection may be inevitable, but how you handle it is entirely up to you. Will you let it define you, or will you use it as fuel to grow stronger and more determined? The choice is yours, and it's one that shapes not just your present moment, but your entire life. As we wrap up this exploration of Stoic ways to handle rejection, remember that these principles aren't just tools, they're a mindset. By embracing the universality of rejection and responding with wisdom and resilience, you can transform setbacks into stepping stones. And in doing so, you'll not only navigate life's challenges with greater ease, but also build a life of meaning, purpose, and strength. Thank you for joining me on this journey through Stoic wisdom. If you found these insights helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more content like this. Let's continue growing together, one step at a time. As we come to the end of this journey through the 25 Stoic ways to handle rejection, let's take a moment to reflect on the power of these principles. Each one offers a unique lens through which we can view rejection, not as a defeat, but as an opportunity for growth, resilience, and self-discovery. From accepting what we cannot control to reframing rejection as feedback, these Stoic tools are designed to help us navigate life's challenges with grace and wisdom. What makes these principles so transformative is their practicality. They're not abstract ideas reserved for philosophers, they're actionable steps you can apply in your everyday life. Whether it's practicing negative visualization to prepare for setbacks or focusing on virtue rather than outcomes, each method empowers you to take control of your response to rejection. And when you do, you'll find that rejection loses its sting and becomes a catalyst for personal growth. But the real magic happens when you put these principles into practice. Start small, choose one or two Stoic ways that resonate with you and apply them the next time you face rejection. Over time, you'll notice a shift in how you perceive and respond to setbacks. You'll feel more grounded, more resilient, and more in tune with your own strength. I'd love to hear how these Stoic principles have impacted your life. Share your experiences in the comments below. What strategies have worked for you? What challenges have you overcome? Your stories can inspire and encourage others who are on the same journey. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss out on more Stoic wisdom. There's so much more to explore, from ancient philosophy to modern-day applications, and I'm excited to continue this journey with you. Together, we can build lives of meaning, purpose, and unshakable resilience. Thank you for watching, and remember, rejection is not the end. It's just the beginning of your next chapter.